You think men only fall for looks or mystery? Wrong. The truth is, one sentence from you can hit his heart harder than any perfect body or flirty text ever could. Most women never say it because they have no idea how powerful it actually is. Say this the right way and he'll feel something he can't explain, an emotional pull he won't find anywhere else. It's not manipulation, it's alignment. You'll see how fast his energy changes the moment he hears it. Here's what most women miss. Men crave peace, admiration, and the feeling of being trusted. When you say something like, "I love how calm I feel when I'm around you," it tells him you see more than his looks. You see his presence. That hits him deep because it's not about ego, it's about belonging. And when a woman reflects that kind of energy, it bypasses logic. It goes straight to his emotional core. That's when he starts chasing, not for attention, but for connection. If you've ever felt like he's drifting away, stay with me, because in a moment, I'll show you the exact words that make him open up emotionally. No guessing games or playing hard to get. This one shift will completely change how men respond to you. You ever said something to a man and felt the entire energy between you shift? Like suddenly the air in the room grew heavier, closer. His shoulders tensed just slightly, but you caught it. The flicker in his eyes, the small pause in his breath, the subtle way he looked at you like he'd just seen something new, something unexpected. And for a moment you wondered, wait, what just happened? Most women assume it's their looks, the curve of their body, the way the light touches their skin, or the color on their lips that makes a man lose his balance. Sure, that plays a part. But the real thing that gets under his skin faster than touch, that makes him lose sense of logic, is how your words move through his mind. Not the words alone, but the energy behind them. I used to think attraction was all about what he saw, that men fell because of what stood before their eyes. But one night I said something completely unplanned, and I watched his whole expression change. It wasn't what I said, it was how it came out. My tone was calm. My voice dropped a little lower, and the silence that followed was louder than any word I could have spoken. He didn't move, but I could feel the reaction in the air. That's when it hit me. Men don't fall for a look, they fall for an experience. The way you make him feel in one sentence, the tone you use when you mean something, the tiny pause before you finish your thought. That's where desire lives, in the quiet space between your words. Most women don't see the power in that space. They rush to fill it, worried the silence might make things weird. But silence, when you control it, becomes magnetic. It makes him listen harder, lean closer, crave the next word. It's not about being seductive. It's about being deliberate. Because once you understand the rhythm of connection, your voice stops being just sound. It becomes a signal. It says things you'll never have to speak out loud. Think about it. When was the last time you noticed how his eyes soften when your tone slows just a little, when your voice becomes calm and sure? That's not random, that's chemistry at work. And the best part, you're the one in control. Not by pretending, not by playing games, but by understanding that words carry emotion, emotion creates energy, and energy changes everything. A man's mind may chase stimulation, but his heart responds to resonance. When you speak with awareness from a calm, confident place inside you, he feels it instantly. His body senses safety and spark at the same time. And that mix, safety with fire, is rare. Rare makes you unforgettable. I used to speak just to be understood. Now I speak to be felt. That shift changed everything. Same conversations, same words, but suddenly men started responding differently. They became more present, more attentive, more alive. There's power in realizing you never had to shout to be heard. You just had to speak from the part of you that already knows it's enough. The part that doesn't beg for attention, but draws it naturally. That's why some women walk into a room and change its energy without saying much. They understand their tone, their silence, their intention. They speak like they know something the world forgot. And maybe they do. Because once you understand the energy behind words, you realize your words were never just sound. They were spells. And now you're learning how to cast them. Every man thinks he's in control until a woman learns to speak in a way that slips past his logic. The truth is, the male mind isn't won through reason, it's moved by rhythm. The rhythm in your tone, the softness in your pace, the warmth in your pauses. Those are what turn ordinary moments into memories he can't shake. When you speak slowly, intentionally, he doesn't just hear you, he feels you. His pulse shifts, his focus tightens, his body starts syncing with your energy. It's not magic, it's nature. Men are built to respond to signals, but what they want most isn't what's obvious. It's the tension in what's almost said, the waiting between your words. That's where attraction starts. Think about the last time he leaned closer without realizing why. When your voice dropped slightly and his breath paused for just a second. You didn't touch him, but he felt touched. That's the strength of intention. You can fill a room with electricity without even moving, just by knowing how to hold silence, how to let your words breathe. And here's what many women don't realize. Your words don't have to be perfect, they just need to be real. When you talk to a man, you're not only communicating, you're directing his attention. Every syllable is a note, every pause a beat. The secret is to let your energy lead before your language does. When you enter a conversation feeling calm, bright, and curious, he senses it before you even speak. Men pick up on emotional steadiness faster than they notice beauty, because confidence has a frequency, and when yours is quiet but sure, it says, "I already know my worth." That's what makes him pursue harder. There's a big difference between trying to impress a man and letting him feel your presence. The first one is an act. The second is real strength. You don't have to prove anything. You just have to let him feel that you're not performing for him. You're sharing something and he's lucky to be part of it. That shift alone changes everything. He stops analyzing and starts responding. He leans toward you, not because you want him to, but because your energy feels good. That's the power of emotionally charged words. They make him connect you with peace and excitement at once. And that's something no man forgets. So how do you use this in your life? Start small. The next time you talk to him, slow your voice just slightly. Let a pause sit before your next thought. Watch his reaction. Notice how his eyes start looking for your next word. Then say something simple but honest, something that shows he affects you. It doesn't need to be dramatic, just genuine. Say softly, "You make it hard to think when you look at me like that." The strength isn't in the phrase, it's in how you say it. Because when your tone matches your truth, it becomes undeniable. What most women don't know is that men are always listening for what's real. They live in a world full of words that mean nothing, compliments without emotion. So when a woman speaks with presence and meaning, she cuts through all that noise. He doesn't just hear her voice, he feels her essence. And when he feels that, his guard drops. He stops acting, starts connecting. That's when true chemistry begins. The moment you make him feel both safe and intrigued, seen yet curious. That's when he's hooked. It's not about saying the perfect line, it's about saying it from the right energy. When your presence says, "I'm not here to impress," he feels something real, and that's what keeps him coming back. "I'm enjoying you." The moment those words leave your lips, everything shifts. His whole body relaxes. He feels wanted, not trapped, desired, not tested. And that single difference changes everything, because men don't fall for women who demand attention. They fall for the ones who draw it effortlessly, the ones who understand that silence can speak louder than praise, and a whisper can carry more strength than a shout. The ones who know that the real art of attraction isn't about chasing, it's about creating a space where he chooses to stay. When you master that balance between gentleness and certainty, he won't even realize you've changed the entire energy between you. He'll just know something about you feels different, magnetic in a way he can't explain. Something happens when a man stops hearing your words and starts feeling them. It's quiet but powerful, a shift in his gaze, a stillness in his breath, a deeper focus that says he's no longer just listening, he's absorbing. That's when emotional attraction begins to grow. Most people think attraction fades when mystery is gone, but real attraction deepens when emotion takes the place of logic. Because a man might want many, but he only becomes hooked on the one who makes him feel. Men spend their lives being admired for what they do, not desired for who they are. They hear they're capable, reliable, strong, but rarely do they hear, "You make me feel safe," or "You calm something inside me I didn't know needed peace." Those words don't stroke his ego. They touch a part of him that's been hungry for understanding. When you speak to that part of him, you create a bond that goes deeper than attraction. It's not about flattery, it's about reflection. When you balance his strength with your softness, when you make him feel powerful yet at peace, you awaken something primal. He begins to connect you with relief, and desire mixed with relief becomes addiction. In a world that demands men to always perform, you become the place where he can simply exist. That's where real attachment grows, not through games or distance, but through emotional safety wrapped in warmth. The more he feels emotionally seen by you, the more his every thought, heartbeat, and craving start leading back to you. That's when he begins checking his phone just to see your name. That's when he replays your last words in his mind, trying to figure out what you meant by that pause, that glance. You become the loop he can't turn off, because your presence made him feel something the world rarely offers, a sense of calm mixed with desire. And here's the truth. Emotional attraction doesn't come from perfection, it comes from honesty. When you show your feelings with confidence, when you say, "I love how you make me feel grounded," without worrying if it sounds too soft, you're actually showing strength. Real confidence isn't pretending you don't care. It's having the courage to feel deeply and still stay centered. Men find that impossible to resist. It gives them permission to open up too. When he senses that you're emotionally available but not dependent, that you can care deeply without losing yourself, he realizes you're different. You're safe but exciting, calm but unpredictable. And that contrast is exactly what his mind can't look away from. When you reach that level of connection, there's no need to chase or prove anything. You just exist in his awareness like a melody he can't stop humming. You've touched something far beyond physical desire. You've reached the place where emotion and identity merge. The more he feels emotionally anchored in you, the more he sees you as irreplaceable. Because physical attraction fades once it's satisfied, but emotional attraction lingers. It promises something deeper. Every conversation becomes a doorway into the world you've built between you. Every pause becomes a shared memory. Every word turns into another reason to stay. That's the secret most people miss. It's not about making him need you. It's about making him feel safe, wanting you. When a man can desire you and feel peace in the same breath, you've reached the highest form of connection. That's when desire turns into devotion. That's when he doesn't just crave your presence, he protects it. That's when you realize the real power of feminine energy isn't in seduction, it's in emotional intelligence. It's the art of turning gentleness into strength, warmth into gravity, and vulnerability into magnetism. Because when you speak from that place, you stop trying to win him over, you simply become unforgettable. When a man feels something he can't describe, he keeps coming back just to understand it. That's what your energy does. It leaves questions in his body that his mind can't answer. It's not about being louder, more beautiful, or more clever. It's about how your presence makes him feel the moment you enter the room. Energy speaks first, words follow after. You could say the simplest sentence, but if it carries steady confidence, it becomes unforgettable. When you look at him and your eyes silently say, "I see you," without a single word, his nervous system reacts. His body recognizes something familiar, something it wants to return to. That's how connection turns into attachment. But here's where most people go wrong. They focus on being interesting instead of being interested. When you shift from performing to noticing, from talking to feeling, everything changes. He begins to open up because your energy gives him permission to. Men mirror emotional tone more than they admit. If your presence is calm yet alive, he feels safe to be himself. If your tone carries warmth and certainty, he draws in closer. You become the emotional temperature of the space. The goal isn't to control him, it's to guide the energy between you. Slow down, let the moment breathe. Speak with purpose, but don't rush to fill silence. Because silence, when owned, is the strongest language there is. It tells him you're not scared of closeness. It shows you're comfortable in your own presence. And that's magnetic. You don't need to prove your worth with words or actions. Your energy already reveals it. When you move with quiet self-trust, he feels it. When you speak with awareness, he listens differently. Your voice becomes a rhythm his body naturally follows. That's why when you say something like, "I like how calm you make me feel," it strikes so deep. It's not just the compliment, it's the truth behind it. He senses the honesty in your tone before his mind catches the meaning. That's the emotional blueprint of attraction. It's not about perfection, it's about resonance. You're showing him your presence isn't a performance, it's an experience. And experiences are what men remember. They may forget your words, but they never forget how your energy made them feel. Every time he thinks back to that moment, his body relives the same emotional chemistry, and that's how lasting desire is born, and that's how memories slowly turn into longing. But to keep that spark alive, you first have to stay connected to yourself, because your energy can only attract as deeply as your inner peace allows. When you're grounded, real, and emotionally aware, he senses it instantly. You become the calm in his storm, the warmth in his silence, the mystery he can't quite explain. That's what makes him keep coming back, not because you're distant, but because you're complete within yourself. When you speak, let it come from calm presence, not pressure. When you listen, do it with curiosity, not expectation. When you touch, let it feel like every moment matters. That's how simple interactions turn into lasting emotional marks. The longer you keep this rhythm, the deeper the bond grows. He starts depending on your energy, not from need, but from trust, because consistency creates safety, and safety opens the door to deeper connection. That's when he stops searching for validation elsewhere, because you've already given him what he didn't even know he was missing. You become both his anchor and his spark, the balance between peace and excitement, the reason he feels most himself when he's near you. And the best part, you didn't have to chase, manipulate, or convince him. You just learned to guide your energy with awareness. You stopped trying to be noticed and started allowing yourself to be felt. That's the real shift. Because once a man experiences a woman who moves with intention and emotional depth, every other connection feels dull in comparison. You've set a new standard in his system. He might meet others, but none will carry the same feeling. That's not arrogance, it's energy. When you truly understand that, you stop wondering, does he want me? And start realizing, of course he does. Because your energy doesn't beg, it draws in. It teaches him how to show up differently. It reminds him what genuine connection feels like. And before he realizes it, he's not just attracted to you, he's in tune with you. That's the quiet power of true presence. That's what keeps him returning again and again. There comes a point when connection stops being something you try to create and starts being something you naturally embody. That's when you see that the real power was never about what you say to a man, but how deeply you know yourself. Because when a woman is aligned with her energy, her words carry a current. They vibrate differently. They don't chase attention. They command it effortlessly. She can whisper just one sentence and it echoes inside him long after she's gone. That's the secret people rarely mention. Real attraction doesn't come from performing or pretending. It's born from being truly present. When you're present, your words match your energy. Your energy matches your truth, and that truth becomes magnetic. A man might not understand why he's drawn to you, but he'll feel it. When you speak, something inside him listens. When you look at him with calm certainty, he feels grounded. When you smile with quiet confidence, he feels chosen. When you pause before responding, he feels anticipation. You've turned even the smallest gestures into emotional gravity, drawing him toward you without trying. And here's the beautiful part. You're not trying to control him. You're just expressing yourself with awareness. You've stopped trying to prove your worth, impress, or explain. You've started living in your natural rhythm, and that rhythm is impossible to resist, because when a woman feels whole, her energy radiates abundance. It says, "I'm not waiting for completion. I am already complete." And that is what holds his attention. He doesn't fall for an image of you. He falls for how it feels to be near someone awake and emotionally alive. The more authentic you become, the more he opens up, the more steady you remain, the more he trusts. You become both his peace and his passion, a reminder that depth can live inside desire. And once he feels that, he won't want to look for it elsewhere. But this isn't about manipulating his emotions. It's about understanding them. It's about knowing when to soften, when to hold your ground, when to simply breathe and let silence speak for you. You don't need the perfect response or clever line. You just need to feel what you say, because when you speak from honesty, your energy carries a tone that breaks through every layer of defense. That's when he starts sharing the parts of himself he hides from the world. That's when he stops craving your appearance and starts craving your presence. When you can connect to a man at that depth, you don't just attract him, you awaken something inside him. You remind him what real closeness feels like, and that kind of bond doesn't fade away. It lingers in his heartbeat, his breath, the way he looks for your energy in others after you. But never forget, that power doesn't come from him, it's born from you. From your openness to feel, from your ability to turn vulnerability into strength, from your courage to stay gentle in a world that taught you to be guarded. That's what makes you unforgettable. That's why he comes back. Not because he needs you, but because he feels more alive when you're near. So next time you speak, let your voice carry intention. Next time you touch, let your energy speak first. Next time you look at him, do it knowing the effect it already has. Because you do know it, you've seen it, you've felt it, and now you understand it. Every word, every pause, every look holds meaning when it comes from truth. That's what separates ordinary from magnetic. That's what turns attraction into connection, and connection into devotion. You are the experience he never knew he was searching for. And the truth is, that power was always within you. You just had to remember it. So breathe, slow down, and let your energy take the lead. Because when you do, the world and everyone in it responds differently. If you felt something shift while hearing this, it's no coincidence. That's your own energy waking up, reminding you that you never had to chase love. You only needed to embody it. And if you're ready to go deeper into mastering that kind of connection, stay close, because next time we'll go further into how to use your natural energy to build emotional devotion that lasts. Because once you understand that, everything changes.